الآن ندرس الدرس الثالث عشر. So we continue with the lesson 13. So this is a new topic. Okay, so now we move. All of the previous lesson, they are all in the sarf. Okay, in a sarf. So we talk about the wazan, we talk about the changes. Now we move to nahu. We move to syntax. Okay, so this is where you will use whatever things that you have learned in the previous lesson in order to form new words, okay, in the nahu, in your sentences. So هذا أو درسنا اليوم المفعول المطلق. المفعول المطلق, and the translation of المفعول المطلق is المفعول is the object and المطلق is absolute. So it is absolute object. So what is this المفعول المطلق? All right, let us look at the examples and then I will explain what is this المفعول المطلق. Of course, in the previous lesson, previously you have learned maf'ul bih, right? The object, direct object, maf'ul bih. So in Nahu, we have more than one maf'ul. So you have maf'ul bihi. So today you learn about maf'ul mutlaq. So later we will learn about another maf'ul li ajlihi, maf'ul. So there are a few maf'ul in Lugha Arabiya. Okay, so today it is about maf'ul mutlaq. Iqra al-amthilat al-atiyah. Okay, read the following examples. Okay, so here we have two groups, alif wa ba. Okay, so we look at majmu'a al-ula, the first group. Al-jumlatul ula, nasaha al-abu al-walada. Nasaha al-abu al-walada. Naam. Ma ma'na hazihi al-jumla? What is nasaha? This is a verb for which fi'l or for which word? Nasaha fi'il madi. Yes, Safwan.
Is it advice?
Advice, yes, correct. So this is the verb, advice. Nasaha fi'il mudari is yansahu. You say yansahu. Yes. Nasaha yansahu. Who advise? Who is the fa'il?
The father of
The father of the father is the fa'il. So here. Al-abu. You look at the dhamma here. This is the indicator that this is the person, the doer, the fa'il. Because fa'il is always marfu. Still remember, fa'il is always marfu. So when a word is in the marfu, in the state of marfu, you will have several endings. So one of them is dhamma. Dhamma. So here you have this dhamma. So this is an indicator that the word is a fa'il. So this is the person who nasaha. The father advised. Who did he advise? Now we want to find the maf'ulun bih, the object. The father advised. Who did he advise? The walad, the son, yes, or the boy, yes. So he advised the boys. So this is the object. And what do you call it? The doer is called fa'il and the object is called maf'ul bihi. Good. It is called maf'ulun bihi. That is the object. So do you remember when if it is a maf'ulun bih, what is the hukum? For example, just yes. Mansub. Yes, good. If it is maf'ulun bih, then the hukum is different. It is not marfu. It is mansub. So when the word is in the state of mansub, what is the ending? Normally the ending that we normally see. Fatha, yes. So when it is mansub, normally you will see fatha. Okay, so that is why for this word you have a fatha. So by knowing all this, whether it is a fa'il, whether it is maf'ulun bih, you know the ending, you'll be able to determine, oh, this is the doer, this is the object, and so on. Okay, so you will not be confused with the meaning of the sentences. Because why? Because the sometimes the structure is, this is the basic structure, fi'il, and then you have fa'il, and then you have maf'ulun bih. But sometimes you have fi'il, and then you will see maf'ulun bih. In the end, only you will see the fa'il. So in that case, if you do not know what does this dhamma and fatha stands for, then you will be confused with the actual meaning of the sentence. Okay, right. So nasahal abu al walada, that is for the nahu part. Okay, now we look at the meaning. When they say nasahal abu al walada, the father advised the boy. Sometimes when you hear people say this, you are not so sure. Is it Did the father really advise his boy? Is it true? No, this guy want to say yes, it's true that he has already advised the boy. So you want to say it is true. You want to emphasize on the verb, the action. So what do you do? What do you do is you need to add another word here. After the sentence, you need to add one word which is taken from this verb. Again, I repeat, you want to emphasize on that verb. You want to say that yes, it is true. It is true that the father has done that. So what do? You need to add one word in the end of the sentence. That is number one. And what is the word? The word is taken from the verb. What is the verb? Nasoha. That is number two, taken from the verb. Number three, you need to find what is the masdar. Here we need to apply the lesson masdar that we have learned. So you need to find the masdar of nasoha. What is the masdar of nasoha? You put that masdar here. Then by having this masdar, then the meaning will be like truly he has. So it's like to say indeed he has done that. Okay, so what is the masdar for nasoha? This is a three-letter fi'il. So according so in our lesson, masdar, we said if the fi'il is a three-letter fi'il, how do you know the masdar? Is it through the wazan or by going to the dictionary? Wazan?
Go to the dictionary.
Not wazan. Wazan if it is 4 letter and above. 4 letter and above, yes, you can refer to the wazan. Fa'ala, mufa'ala, jahada, mujahada, jihad, and so on. But since this is 3-letter fi'il, there is no wazan for that. You have to go to the dictionary. Then in the dictionary, they will give you several options. One of them is this. One of them is this word. Nushun. Non, sad, ha. Non, sad, ha. So this is one of the masdar for the word nasoha. So what do? You put that masdar here. Non, sad, ha, noshon. Okay, that is number 3. You get the masdar, you put it there. And then number 4, since this is maf'ul mutlaq. So since this is maf'ul mutlaq, maf'ul mutlaq is always mansub. It is similar to maf'ul bih. This is similar to maf'ul bihi. Maf'ulun bihi is mansub, maf'ul mutlaq. Anything that is maf'ul is always mansub. So since it is mansub, what do you need to end the word? You end it with a fathah. So here, how do you read the word? You don't read nushon. How do we read now? This is mansub, so you end it with a fathah. 1 or 2 fathah? Is it nosha with 1 fathah or noshan with tanwin? Nushan, because you don't have alif lam. Since there is no alif lam, we put 2 tanwin. Okay, and since you are not, you don't connect this to another word, so you have to put tanwin. So when a word has a tanwin, fathah in the end, we will add an alif just to support the tanwin. This is the writing part, the spelling part of it. Okay, han, nushan, you just add the alif to the end of the word. So it becomes, the sentence is now nasahal abu al walada nushan. Nasahal abul walada nushan. So what is this? How do you translate the word nushan? It cannot be translated. But why? Because the function is just to add emphasis to the sentence. That's all. So how do you translate this? It is up to you. You can say indeed. You can add the word indeed in front of the sentence. But how do you know the word indeed is there? By understanding the function of maf'ul mutlaq. Okay. So this is one of the topic that it is very difficult to translate this in other language. Okay, we need to understand the function. Nasahal abul walada nushan. Indeed, the father has advised his son or the boy. Okay, so no need to translate this one anymore. Right. So this is what we mean by al maf'ul al mutlaq. Okay, let us look at number 2. If you have any question, please ask. Al-jumlatu thaniya, qara'a al-ustadhu al-qissah. Qara'a, that is the verb. qara'a. Al-ustazu qara'a. So this is the fa'il. The ustaz read the qissa. He read the story. Al-qissata. Maf'ulun bih. Fi'il. This is the fa'il. This is the maf'ulun bih, the direct object. Okay, now people ask you, is it true that the ustaz has read the qissa? So you want to confirm, you want to say, yes, it is true. So what do you need to do? You need to add maf'ul mutlaq to the end of the sentence. So again, how do we add maf'ul mutlaq? What do we need to do? What kind of word do we put here? Just like the first one. What is this word?
Masdar.
Masdar, good. So yes, first you need to put a masdar, good. That is number one. Masdar for which word?
Qara'a.
Yes, masdar for the verb that is in the sentence. Okay, don't find the masdar from another verb. If you find masdar from another verb, the meaning could change. Okay, so we want to use the masdar from the same verb. So here, the verb is qara'a, then find the masdar for qara'a. Okay, so what is the masdar for qara'a? This is also a three-letter fi'il. We go to the dictionary. So what is the masdar for qara'a? How do you say reading? The dictionary will say the masdar is qira'ah. That is the masdar. Qira'ah. Okay, qira'ah. So of course the meaning of qira'ah is reading, but in the sentence it is not whether the ustaz has read the book reading. Well, no, we don't translate that because the function of maf'ul mutlaq here is to emphasize. So we say indeed, or verily, or it's up to you how do you want to translate it, as long as you have that emphasis in the meaning. The ustaz has indeed read the qissah. Okay, so that is how we translate a sentence with maf'ul mutlaq. Okay, so how do you read this word qira'ah? Is it qira'atun, qira'atan, or qira'atin? That is the nahu, the function of the word. Sorry, the ending of, yes, qira'ah. Qira'atan. Why do we say qira'atan? Why not qira'atun? Why not qira'atin? Yes, correct. But why? Why qira'atan?
Mansub.
Mansub, okay. Mansub, good. Why is it mansub?
Because it's masdar.
If it is because of masdar, not necessarily, because you can have masdar with other signs as well.
Because it is all
Because it is maf'ul
mutlaq.
mutlaq, yes. So when people ask you, why do you say qira'atan? Why not qira'atun? Why don't you read qira'atin? Then you say, oh, because this word in this particular sentence is maf'ul mutlaq. And since it is maf'ul mutlaq, it is mansub. And since it is mansub, you end it with a fathah. So that is the flow. You start with the nahu topic, maf'ul mutlaq, and then you go to the hukum mansub. Then only you can identify the sign, whether it is mansub or majrur or marfu. Okay, so qira'atan. Okay, now do you need to add this alif? So previously I said if a word ends with this tanwin and fathah, we will have alif. Yes, it is true for all alphabet except this ta marbuta. Except ta marbuta. If it ends with ta marbuta qira'atan, you don't have to add alif. Nobody will write this qira'atan with alif. No. Okay, no need. So again, for ta marbuta, there is no need to add that alif. But other than ta marbuta, yes, you will see that alif. So no alif for ta marbuta and no alif for this hamzah. If you have alif and hamzah, and it ends with the tanwin, there is no need to add alif as well. So only for these two conditions, you don't need to add alif. Other than that, ba, ban, you have alif. Ta, tan, the normal ta, you add alif. Lam, you add alif. Okay, so this is only the spelling part of it. فهذه هي الجملة الثانية. قرأ الأستاذ القصة قراءة. So this is the maf'ul mutlaq taken from the verb qara'a. Okay, so this is one of the usages of masdar. So when we learn masdar, this is one of the usages. There are a few other usages. Now, next word or next jumlah. Zara Muhammadun sadiqahu. Zara fi'l. Ziyara, visit. This is the fi'l zara. Muhammad is the fa'il. You look at the dhamma. This is in fa'il. So Muhammad visited sadiqa. So here it ends with a fathah. These are two words. Don't look at the ha. because ha is the domir. The word is sadiq. So the ending of the word sadiq is a fatha. So this is indicated, this is the maf'ul bih. Muhammad visited friend. Whose friend? His friend. Sadiqahu. Now, so now you want to say, is it, are you sure he has visited his friend? Then the guy will say, yes, sure, confirm. Truly, he has visited his friend. So what is the word that you want to use to say, yes, sure? Then you need to add maf'ul mutlaq. Okay. So find the masdar for the word zara. Again, this is three-letter fi'il. The masdar will come from the dictionary. So what is the masdar for zara? Visiting. The word is ziyarah. Okay, you go to the dictionary, then you will get this word. Zara, the masdar is ziyarah. So ziyarah, then you add the word ziyarah and you end it with a fatha because it is maf'ul mutlaq mansub. Okay, so it ends with a fatha. Al-jumlah, zara Muhammadun sadiqahu ziyaratan. So ziyaratan here is used to emphasize on the word zara. Okay, so that is how we use al-maf'ul mutlaq in these sentences. Okay, so far, any question to understand this maf'ul mutlaq? No questions? Okay. All right. Let us go to the al-qa'idah now. So al-qa'idah, al-maf'ul mutlaq. Okay, what is maf'ul mutlaq? Maf'ul mutlaq is this masdar. So highlight this word. Maf'ul mutlaq is masdar. So you must use a masdar. You cannot use any other noun. It must be a masdar. You cannot use any other word. It must be masdar. Masdar, and number two, the hukum of the word maf'ul mutlaq is always mansub. So it must be mansub. It cannot be marfu or majrur. So it ends with a fathah. Okay, it ends with a fathah. Mansub, it will end with a fathah. Ends with a fathah. Masdar mansub. And then this masdar must mushtaq. It must be derived from the fi'il. You must use the same word, the same fi'il that is in the sentence, change it to the masdar. Okay, so that is how you put, how you put a maf'ul mutlaq in the sentence. This part is not important. Wa yadullu ala hadas ghairi muqtarin bi zaman. This is to explain what is a masdar. Okay, no need to have this, but I will just translate. And it tells the action. It tells about an action with that is not related to time. So this is, if you still remember, when we talk about masdar, we said masdar is a noun, verbal noun. The similarity of a masdar and a verb, both have an action, both explain an action. There is an action, but the difference is that a verb will contain will have time, zaman, but for masdar there is no zaman. So that's all. So this is just to explain what is masdar, so we can ignore this part. Okay, and then this is the function. So now this is the function. What is the function of masdar? So the function of the masdar here, it says wa yu'akkidu al-fi'l. Yu'akkid, or sometimes we call it tawkid. Tawkid or yu'akkid. This is to emphasize. This is to say that truly he has done that. That is tawkid. So there are several ways to do tawkid, to emphasize a sentence, to emphasize on a particular word in Arabic. So one of the ways is using maf'ul mutlaq. Okay, so this is the main function of a maf'ul mutlaq, and we have seen that function in all of the sentences. All right, so that is maf'ul mutlaq. The main function is to do tawkid, to emphasize on that fi'l. All right. Okay, now I want to give you the second function of a tawkid. Not mentioned in our lesson, but it is also important because in the exercises you will see that second function. So there are actually three functions. Okay, so now let us look at the second function. The first function is tawkid. All right, done. This is the first function for tawkid, this one. So now we want to go for the second function. So with that, let us do this. So tawkid, maf'ul mutlaq, the first function just now we say tawkid, to emphasize of the action of the fi'l itself. Okay, that is the first function. How do you do that? Just by putting the masdar, that's all. Okay, only one word, enough. And that is for tawkid. Now we want to use maf'ul mutlaq, but for the second function. So the second function is not to tawkid anymore. It's not to emphasize. The second function is to bayan, to explain. Bayan means to explain. Bayan means to explain. Bayan now al-fi'l. Okay, you can write this. Bayan now al-fi'l. It is to explain the type of the verb, the type of the action. How did he do that? So you want to say, oh, he did that so and so. So how did you do that? Then you have to use maf'ul mutlaq. And in order to do this, bayan now al-fi'l, what do you need to do is you need to have the masdar plus another word, not just one masdar. For tawkidul fi'l just now, you just put the masdar and then that's it. Masdar, that's it. So if it is only the masdar, then the function is tawkid. But if you want to use it for the second function, which is bayan now al-fi'l, you need to have masdar. First, you need to have the masdar. Okay. Second, you need to have another word following the masdar. And normally the word is always in the form of sifa. Normally, it is in the form of adjective. So you just add one adjective. You just add one adjective to the masdar, then you will get the second function. What is the example for this? What is the example for this? Okay, let us go back to our example. Okay, I take the second example. Qara'a al-ustazu al-qissata qira'atan. So here we only have the masdar without any adjective. Then the function is for tawkid. Now you want to change the function from tawkid to, you want to explain how did he do this? How did he read? You want to explain the type of the action. How did he read? Qira'ah, what kind of qira'ah? What kind of reading? Is it slow reading, fast reading, loud, soft, and so on? So by adding another sifah, by adding an adjective. So let's say you want to say he read it loudly. Okay, what is loud? Or yes, to say it out loud. Anybody knows the word? So for example, in the Imam, when he pray Maghrib, when he pray Isha, when he pray Subuh, he pray Fajr, he will read the ayah out loud. So what do you call it? Anybody knows the word? Have you heard this word? Jahar, jahar.
Yes.
Jahar means you read it where other people will hear you. Jahar, you read it out loud. Okay, that is jahar. For example, if it is the Zuhur prayer or Asar prayer, of course you read it sir. Sir means only you yourself will hear it. Nobody else will hear. Will listen to it. Will be able to hear it. That is sir. We call it sir. Sir, where only you will listen or when you will hear it. Sir. The opposite is jahar. Jahar is where everybody will hear it. Jahar. So in this case, we can add an adjective. So we change the word to an adjective. We say qira'ah jahriyah. Qira'ah jahriyah, where the word jahriyah is now an adjective to the qira'ah. Okay, so you want to say he read it out loud. So in this case, the function of qira'ah is no longer for tawkid. The function is now to explain. How did he read the qissah? Qara'a al-ustaz al-qissah qira'ah jahriyah. He read it out loud. Then the function is now changed to bayan and now. Okay, the second function. Okay, so how do you do this? How do you do this? The second function is by adding masdar to an adjective or to a sifah. Okay, we add it to sifah. That is normally how people will do it. There is another way, the second way, okay, of doing bayan now al-fi'l. You can have the second method also by adding the masdar, but this time we don't add adjective. This time we add mudaf ilaih. We make it mudaf ilah. You combine it with another word. not an adjective, another word. For example, we take the third example. The third example. Zara Muhammadun sadiqahu ziyaratan. So here, this is for Tawkid. He has visited his friend. Now, you want to change the function to bayan now, to explain the type of visit. What kind of visit? So you want to say, oh, ziyaratal, you add another word. For example, here I say ziyaratal mahabbah. Mahabbah, love, right? Love. So ziyaratal visit of love. So now the word ziyarah is joined to this word. It's connected to this word mahabbah using this mudaf ilai function. So when you have this, not just the word ziyarah combined to another word, so now the function has also changed. From tawkid, it is now to bayan. How did he visit? What kind of visit? So this is actually a brotherhood visit or love visit. So that is, okay, how people use this for the second function. All right. So there are two ways, by adding a word after the masdar, and that word could be an adjective sifa, or it could be mudaf ilai. So it is up to you. You want to choose which one. But this one is easier. Rather than the mudafa, you go for sifa. You just add an adjective. Maybe we can take another example. We take number 1. Nasaha al-abu al-walad nushan. Now you want to add an adjective. You want to explain what kind of nasiha, what kind of advice that the father gave to his son. Nushan, you want to say good advice. So add an adjective. So give me the adjective. Good advice. Okay, what is the word for good? Anyone? Good. Nushan.
Hasanan.
Hasanan. Yes, correct. Thank you, Madia. Nushan hasanan. So now you add an adjective to the word nushan. We say nushan hasanan. So now the function is changed to bayan now. It's no longer for tawkid. Okay. So these are the examples for the second function, bayan now. So when we have this kind of sentences, then you know, oh, this is to explain the type of it, right? So these are the two functions of maf'ul al-mutlaq. Now the third function, the last function of maf'ul mutlaq. The last function of maf'ul mutlaq is bayan adad al-fi'l. Bayanu adadi al-fi'li. Previously it is bayan now. You want to explain the type of the action. But now you want to explain the adad. What is adad? Adad ma'dud, adad tertibi, adad. Wahid, isnan, salasa, arba'a, khamsa. Number. Yes, you want to explain how many times did he do it. Then you use maf'ul mutlaq. You want to explain the adad, the number of that action. How many times did he knock the door, for example? He did 1 knock, 2 knocks, 3 knocks. Then you will use maf'ul mutlaq. Okay, so what is the example? Okay, the example. Okay, maybe we can take the example number 2. Number 2. Qara'al ustazul qissata qira'atan. Just now we use a normal adjective. We use an adjective. Qira'ah jahriyah to explain the type of the verb. But now we want to explain how many times did he read. Did he read the text, for example? So we say qara'a al ustazu blah 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 qira'atan. How many times? We want to say 1 time. He read it 1 time only. You just add the number. Qira'atan wa hidatan. So by having a number in the end of the masdar, so now the function is now changed from tawkid to bayan al-adad. So for bayan adad, it's not that difficult. You just need to put the number 1. If it is 2, he read it twice, then of course you have to change it to musanna. Qira'ah, you change to qira'ataini. Okay. If you want to say many, 3, then you have to use the numbers. Salasa, arba'a, khamsa. Then the function is now to explain the type. So to explain the number is actually easy because you will have numbers. Okay. But number 1 and number 2, that is what you need to understand the functions. All right. So these are the 3 functions of al-maf'ul al-mutlaq. Now, any questions so far? Of course, we are not going into detail, just the basic about maf'ul mutlaq. No questions? Okay. So if there's no question for maf'ul mutlaq, let us try the tadrib at tadribat.